Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 12th, 2020. Q's up 2.5, SPY up 1.36. All right, we noted yesterday, we did try to come in here yesterday. Weren't going to be bearish because we needed to see what the next move was. And as far as the SPY is concerned, the next move is to negate yesterday's afternoon sell-off and go right back up. Okay, Qs, we were watching for a potential hourly sell off of the 20 MA. Here is kind of our sell setup. You can see there are some issues with it as far as sell setups go. Number one, it's on the wrong side of 20 MA, meaning it's showed actually too much strength. It's retraced all the way back up as opposed and negated the initial drop. So that's one. And then two, we started with an igniting move, okay? Meaning the biggest bar on this retracement is at the beginning. Typically, on this kind of move, when the biggest bar is at the beginning, right, the move still has more to go. These don't usually end all that easily, especially not with kind of smaller bars up here, okay? So biggest bar at the bottom as far as this retracement, and on the wrong side of the 20 MA. All right, so this move back up is actually pretty bullish. All right, so over today's high, 272.84, back to bullish on the Qs. SPY, nothing but bullish. Okay, we're already bullish on the SPY here, taking out previous day's high, okay, and continuing the daily uptrend. Okay. All right, I got a good question yesterday in one of the one-on-one coachings. How much do I care about the daily when I'm looking at the hourly? And the answer is a lot. Okay, when we get these kind of smaller moves on the hourly, okay, but the daily is still strong, and you can see we've had it here and here and here, and the daily is still strong. You want confirmation on the hourly. Okay, when the daily's in this uptrend, but you're seeing kind of this starting to break down a little bit on the hourly, you want that extra confirmation on the hourly. You want it to show you repeat lower low and a repeat lower high. You don't want just a single break, right? Because what's most likely to happen is it's to get bought back up because the daily is bullish. Okay, so the larger time frames are going to color your expectations for the smaller time frame. Now, the reason that I follow the hourly also, instead of just saying, well, the daily is king, let's just follow the daily, is because if the hourly does go into a downtrend, right, that's going to have to happen first before the daily can go into a downtrend. So I can watch the hourly to see kind of what the underlying current is. If this actually starts to go into a downtrend first, then I can start to look for weakness in the daily. Does that make sense? So I'm using the smaller time frames to help give me some indication if the daily is going to turn. Because the issue is, unless I'm like trying to guess the top here, meaning every time it makes a new high, I'm like, that's the top, where that's the top, where that's the top, right? Otherwise, if I actually wait for the daily to go into a downtrend, it's not going to happen until here, right? And at that point, this thing has already dropped, what, $25, right? It's already dropped almost 10%. So that's way too late to be saying, okay, well, now we're bearish on the Qs, right? Or to start even look to being bearish. Most likely, right, at that point, you're probably going to be expecting a bounce, and then probably that next bounce maybe is a shortable opportunity. So to make up for that if you just follow the daily, you're going to be really late when you figure out that the top is in. I'm using the hourly to give me a downtrend, and that's going to have to happen before the daily goes into a downtrend. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. That's why we do it the way that we do it. Okay, I mean, of course, I'm definitely not the type that's going to get the top or guess the top or call the top or anything. I don't expect to. I don't aim to at all. Okay, so but if the daily is somehow going to break, go into a downtrend, I'll see it on the hourly first, right? And that way I don't have to be $25, $30 late, or the market's already dropped that much by the time I'm aware of us going into a downtrend on the daily. Okay. All right, let's go over today's plays. I thought today, so far this week, has probably been the most straightforward day in that the best gaps, which were the SMCI and the OSPN, gave the best follow through and gave the best setups. Okay, so I know some of you played the OSPN with me this morning. Hopefully you managed it better than I did. I did jump out of it when it did this initial break and then had to get back in because the bar that took me out, which was this bar, I actually got filled right there, 22.36. That's actually me right there, covering my initial short play. And then I had to get back in right underneath because they put it in an inside bar and then broke right back down. It was also a sell setup on the 2 minute. So that was a pretty bad exit. It was a little bit of a deviation from plan because the original stop was supposed to be at 22.50 and it never got there. I just did not like how when I got in on the breakdown, all that volume came in. I was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to follow through. So that's why I kind of killed it a little bit prematurely over 22.30. Shook me out, came right back in. But the good thing is I did get back in. So that ended up being all right. I didn't end up holding it till the end of the day, which would have been kind of the best thing. I was aiming for this 200 as the target there. And I did get there, but it also dropped quite a bit below that. I think it was like a 60-cent stop. And so you can see that aiming for $20, and then low there is $1.60, closed at $18.80. I definitely left quite a bit there on the OSPN by not holding a runner. If I had held a runner, I would have done hourly bar by bar, and that actually would have kept me in till end of day. So, yeah, the poor management on the initial play and on the replay. So we'll have to do better tomorrow with management. I wasn't too thrilled about that, but at least the play worked. And then SMCI had a couple breakdowns in the morning. I wasn't sure if we were going to get through the daily support that it was gapping to. But lately what we've seen is that a lot of the good gaps, the ones that do have some shock value here, leaving behind a recent up move, are being able to eat through that support and close at the lows. Okay, so we've seen a lot of that the last 2 weeks really. So, that's kind of the expectation. Can be a little bit more aggressive on these gap downs to support. Okay, as long as there's shock value, meaning that the most recent move was up and it's kind of leaving these traders trapped if they were long. Okay. All right. So I thought, like I said, today, as far as the gaps go, about a bit more straightforward than it has been the last couple of days. These have been really, really powerful. These trend breaks, something that's been had a rising 20 MA and been following it, and then gapping down and breaking it. These have been very powerful. So keep on the lookout for these as well. These have been falling through really, really nicely. Okay. All right. Hope you did well today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.